If you're thinking about starting your own service business, then you have to know who your customer is. When the founder of Lululemon was designing his business, he had it down really detailed to the point of knowing that his ideal customer was a female in her mid-20s to mid-30s who was educated and was working her way up a corporate job, was not married, but was thinking about it and maybe interested in having 1 to 3 children at some point in the next 10 years. That's pretty specific. And as it turns out, Lululemon ended up becoming wildly successful. If this is your first time here, my name is Ken, this is James, we are the Security Bros. And what does it mean to know your customer?
Well, is that what you're doing over there on your laptop? You're looking up the history of Lululemons?
No. Okay, so off script here, I'm uploading with my laptop a video from last week onto YouTube. I was not researching Lululemon.
Oh.
He's wondering where I got this intro from. I make these things up on the fly. I might be off on some of the details, but it was roughly something like that for Lululemon.
You're right. I do keep the history of Lululemon and how they started.
Oh,
just
you're wondering how I knew that. I listened to, okay, because I listened to stories about
the story of Lululemon. Yeah. And the point remains, you do have to know your customer because otherwise you're just shooting in the dark. That guy, a little bit more specific maybe than some of us. If you're starting a service-based business, you're like, well, it seems like a simple thing. I want to sell my product to people. What people? I can sell it to individuals, I can sell it to businesses, I can sell it to corporations, I can sell it to the people that live in apartment buildings, I can sell it to the people that manage the apartment buildings. I can, who are you selling your stuff to?
Can I interject here?
Yeah.
A lot of people, including myself, they start a business and somebody says, who's your client? Right. Who can we refer to you? And they'll say, oh, anybody who wants to buy my stuff. Mm-hmm. That's their client, anybody who wants to buy. Yeah, it's way too broad because they have no idea who to advertise to, who to market to.
In our case, we sell to commercial customers. Somebody wants it on their house, we don't do that. It's not as narrow as Lululemon's, but it's not as broad as Papa John's. They're selling to humanity. In a service-based business, you're probably going to be a little more specific because you're offering a specific service. Say you're a cleaning company. Maybe you'll do commercial and residential, but it's easier to market it and sell to a specific type of customer.
The reason for knowing the type of customer is it's largely about knowing the type of problem that you solve for customers, which is why when we say we are commercial, technically we do things that are residential, like apartment buildings and condo buildings.
That's true.
But they still need commercial systems. And so the problem we're solving is still the same problem on an apartment building as a doctor's office, where the doctor's office might have a lot of visitors. They may want to have a visitor entry intercom to control visitors and deliveries into their special place. And they also might want key card access for staff to use to get into their
special place,
their special building. Right.
Yeah.
They might want security cameras to protect them from theft of expensive product as well as liability. We actually might do industrial provided that we're solving the same problem as we're solving for these other clients because we have a track record of solving those very well, which means we have a ton of references we can provide if needed. Knowing our customer, which you might already be getting to, but knowing our customer has taken some time.
I didn't have a note here to cover it's taken some time, but I did have a note to take some time. So it's a kind of a play on what you were going with there, but I mean, it does take time. You can't sell to everybody. That's extremely, okay, maybe Papa John's, they're selling to everybody, right? But that's very rare, especially in service-based businesses.
But Papa John's isn't selling to everybody for our purposes.
They're not.
Papa John's sells to everybody that wants high quality pizza.
Well, depending on where you go in the country,
I know.
If you go up to New York, they're going to argue that point.
They're going to argue it, but the truth is that they spend more money getting higher quality ingredients. Assuming people would buy it at the price that they charge, they could get cheaper products, and that might be tempting. But old Papa John made it a point that he wanted to use
better ingredients
for
a better pizza.
Exactly.
Anyways, this is like half the video is talking about pizza places.
I know.
I mean, but I do like pizza. To your point about us doing residential, it is still commercial in the sense that we don't work with the individuals who live in an apartment building. We're only working with the property management or with one singular point of contact versus dealing with every single resident in the building. So it's kind of coming at it from more of a commercial angle in the residential space.
The only way in which it's residential is that the property is listed as a residential property.
Right.
But the work itself is still of commercial nature.
Say one of the viewers is looking to do work at an apartment building. So are they going to market to the commercial side of that building, or are they going to market to the residents in the building? That's an interesting case, because you have one property and you can market two different kinds of ways to the exact same property. If you're a cleaning service, you're probably going to, well, actually you can market both ways to the exact same property. You can market as commercial to clean the public spaces of the building, or you can market residential. Maybe you want to do both, but if you're going to sell to somebody, like we said, it's easier to pick a lane.
It's worth picking a lane even if you could technically or even practically do more. Picking a niche means that you will get compounding benefits. For us, we do a lot, as it turns out, with the apartment and condo industry. One of the reasons for that is because prior to 2020, we did a lot of things in industries that got shut down in 2020 to 2022, which meant we had to do the pivot. I remember that became such a buzzword. I got sick of hearing the word pivot. One industry that did not shut down were apartments and condo buildings. Those actually became more busy because people were working from home. They were getting tons of deliveries at home. Then there became a need for increased security because all those packages that showed up attracted a lot of theft. So a lot of apartment buildings and condos, all those packages get put into the lobby.
Right.
People would break into the lobby, or if the lobby doors are just open, people would walk in, steal the packages because they're full of goodies. That meant that those places needed more security. They needed access control in their building. They needed those intercoms that would control visitors and deliveries. A lot of people didn't like that when they ordered a package, they had to come down to let the package in. They paid us to put the electric lock and the intercom and the access control and the security cameras in the building to facilitate convenience and security. Great. So we started doing more of those. And if you only do like one apartment and then one doctor's office and one thing over here and they're all random, then those things take longer to like compound because as you said, we work with management companies. So by doing a lot of apartment buildings and a lot of condo buildings, we're working with these management companies and they have a lot of other locations. They end up putting us into all their other locations. So we ended up growing a lot faster because we focused on those more. It's not that we don't do other things too, it's just that a lot of those ended up going bye-bye after 2020 and some of them came back, some of them did not. If you know your customer, like if you pick one, maybe it's more importantly, like choose your customer, which can take time if you're bootstrapping it like we did, where you start small and you slowly work up. Okay, it can take time to develop your business and your customer base. But if you do that and you pick one, and the more you do, it becomes a snowball effect where the thing grows faster and faster and faster. And then you end up reaping all the rewards of that. So there is a huge plus to being niche, even though you could go wider.
And it sounds like I'm advocating that you leave money on the table because, well, let's use the cleaning company example. Well, you could clean the building and you could clean the people's apartments. So if I pick just the apartments, then I'm going to lose that money on cleaning the building. Over time, being in a niche means, A, you're going to get really good at that one particular thing. You're going to build a brand for that one particular thing. When people talk about your company and tell their friends about it, they're going to talk about that one particular thing. But if you're doing like a ton of different things, and you're like, so, Ken, what does your company do? It'd be like, I do this, and this, and this thing. And be like, they already forgot. But if somebody says, hey, Ken, what does your company do?
Right.
What does your company do?
We install security systems on apartment buildings.
There you go. Well, now I remember. Ken does security systems on apartment buildings. That's really easy
And
to
we also
remember.
clean homes, and we do snow
my
shoveling,
God.
and we cut lawns. This happened the other day.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, Ken, make sure you refer us to your clients because
Okay.
we also do work for clients. And I said, okay, what do you guys do? I know they do something in the construction area, but I've never been entirely clear what they do. He was like, oh, we do everything. And I was like, well,
what is that?
can you be more specific? Because I can't refer everything to you. It's not how this works. So then he turns around and he just points to the back of his shirt, which listed like 25 things. And I said, that's a lot of things. I'm not going to remember all that. For my sake, give me one thing because I can maybe remember one.
Right.
And if I do, then that means I'm more likely to refer it. If I can't remember anything because it was too much, I'm not going to refer him at all, which I don't because I don't remember all the things. Picking a lane, as you said, it allows other people to refer to you, which helps with the snowball thing.
That's kind of a niche. Almost doing it all in a sense could be. So there's this company. I don't remember the name exactly. I think it was called like Hire a Husband or Rent a Husband or something like that. The entire idea was that you could rent a guy to come like fix just stuff around the house. Okay, I guess the niche was they were residential, but it was handyman services for around the house. But they kind of did a bunch of different things. It wasn't like they were just a plumber. Even with
That's a tough business because you can't charge that much for any one thing. There's a term for this where you know a little bit of everything, but you're not a master of any one thing.
Yeah,
so,
jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. And nobody pays that much for the jack, but they do pay a lot for the master. And so if you pick something very niche and you're very good at it, and not just you're good at that thing, but you're good at providing it to a very specific type of customer, you can charge a premium for that. Let's say you're a doctor, but you are a very specific doctor for a specific thing that you work on for a specific type of patient, which means you are the best at that. That means the patients who need that one thing will pay you a premium for being the best at it. Being a handyman service is a harder business to run because you have a lot of different things. You can never charge the most for it. And if you're thinking about selling your business in the future, it's a very hard business to sell because it limits the type of companies that would buy. And most companies that will buy a company, they're buying it for something specific. Like people will, in our industry, will buy alarm companies because they want to get all the alarm accounts. Maybe you saw that there was a niche or an opportunity to sell something else. Like there's a security company that will do a lot of pneumatic tube system installations. Just really kind of an odd thing to be into in the security company. There's an opportunity for it. They certainly make money with it.
So the tubes at the banks.
Sometimes pharmacies will use it. Yeah, you
send
drive
a little
up.
plastic tube back and forth.
You can drive up to the tube on the outside and take a canister, put something in it, and it goes through this tube. That's an odd system. Most companies that would, if they were thinking of buying that company, like another security company or an investor is trying to buy up alarm companies and they see this company and they have alarm accounts, but they also do this tubing thing, they probably won't pay that much for the tubing revenue because they don't know what to do with it. They can't use a workforce that they already have to do that work because those guys don't know it. It's not going to be worth as much for sales. Meaning, if you have a business and it does $1 million a year, let's say half of it is the tubing thing and the other half was the alarm accounts. There's a good chance that the offers for that company will be $500,000. They're not going to pay the full $1 million. They may only care about the alarm portion of the business. There was a guy, he started this business where all he did was, I think it was cut grass. But then he eventually was like, okay, I can wash your car for you while I'm here. Okay, in the winter, I can shovel your driveway. Okay, I can also repair your windows. I can also paint your house. I can also work on your plumbing. And he was able to turn it into a $9 million a year business. He sold it for $1 million. If you're making $9 million a year, but you'll sell it for only $1 million, that must have been an insanely difficult business to run to be willing to sell it for $1 million, for a ninth of what he does in 1 year. You compare that to another woman about the same time. She had a business where she sold payment processing for people trying to pay their babysitter. People told her, you should open your platform up so people can pay other types of people. But she said, no, I'm going to stick to the babysitter thing. And she got it up to $1 million a year. Here's the funny part. She sold that business for $9 million. She made a $1 million business that only did one niche thing, and she was able to get 9 times the value. He did a business that did everything, and he was only able to get 1/9 of the value.
Yeah.
Insane difference there. That's what happens when you pick a niche. Just because you can do everything and just because you can serve everybody doesn't mean you should.
If you're going to sell and you're doing all these things, whoever buys is probably looking for maybe one or a couple things that your company does. The rest of it to them is noise. So the more specific you can be with your company and streamline, then you will be more sellable.
Right. So in our business, somebody might come in and say, we'd like to buy it because you service all these apartment buildings. And they might think, we want to offer additional services to those exact clients.
Right.
But then they're going to look at this. We also service a dog sanctuary. And they're going to say, I don't know what that is. I like all these apartments, but you do this one rando dog sanctuary, you know, woof woof. We have nothing to sell those guys. They may not want to pay for the dog sanctuary.
Right. And if they don't want to pay for it?
Yeah. Well, and if you don't want to pay for a dog sanctuary, woof woof, then why don't you go ahead and like this video so we know, share it, say your friends know.
Bye. Woof woof.